playfootball.com.au. Play football. Join the team today. Visit playfootball.com.au to find your nearest club. Football Foundation, making football more accessible for every income, every gender, every ability, every background, every Indigenous Queenslander. Donate today.
Round two in the National Premier League Queensland, and we have two sides tonight who are very, very familiar with each other. Instant Suburbs taking on Peninsula Power. There were two teams that came up from the Football Queensland Premier League last year, and they have plenty of history going a long way back, all the way through the Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League as well. Simon Smale is your commentator today. I'm increasingly excited and will be increasingly excitable over the course of the evening. This is the first time for myself behind the mic this season. And round one of this National Premier League's Queensland competition got things off to a bit of an interesting start. A couple of strange results, or at least results that not many people saw coming, including one of our teams tonight, Peninsula Power, knocking off the double winners, the premiers and champions from last year, Lions, by 2-1. Interestingly, Peninsula Power in the last couple of years have had a remarkable record. They've gone 33 regular season games undefeated. In that time they've only drawn twice, in the Brisbane Premier League against Albany Creek and the Football Queensland Premier League against Logan Lightning. They have only come unstuck in the finals of the Brisbane Premier League in 2017 against Lions, and the FFA Cup also against Lions. They put that to bed last week with a 2-1 victory. It was 2 goals from Sam Cronin that did the damage. He came from a goal behind as well, after Sean Carlos put the ball in the back of the net for the hosts at Lions Stadium. Sam Cronin is our player to watch for Peninsula Power today. He's injury prone, I think that's fair to say. Had 2 spells out on the sidelines last year in that victorious, unbeaten Football Queensland Premier League title winning campaign for Peninsula Power, but when he was on the field he was pretty devastating. He scored just for 4 goals, but certainly made an impact around and about the traps for Peninsula Power. Former Olympic star, and with the Brisbane Roar NTC side in goal scoring form, and promoted to the starting lineup for the first time this season. We'll run you quickly through the teams shortly, but the other player to watch on the other side of the divide tonight is Eastern Suburbs number 23, Tristan Hugo. So the 2 number 23s, Sam Cronin also donning the number 23 jersey for Peninsula Power. But Tristan Hugo, he was at Brisbane City last year. He's just 19 years old. You want to keep an eye on him in the midfield. He is an incredible player, linking up play. He'll win the ball back at all costs. I was mighty impressed with him in the National Premier League Queensland last season for Brisbane City. So keep your eye on him, and we'll be highlighting that throughout the course of the evening as well. We'll go quickly through the teams. There's no graphics, unfortunately, but I'll just run you through them as they line up. Eastern Suburbs will line up almost exactly the same as they did last week. In goal, Sam Long. And number 3, Matthew Byrne. He made Team of the Week last year. Such was his performance in that 3-1 victory against Sunshine Coast. Number 5, Alex Barnett. Number 7, Abram Yango. Number 8, Son Hyun Jun. Number 12, Tristan Hugo. Number 13, James Meyer.
number 17, Matthew Saw, number 18, Jaden Ballarizo, number 19, Jordan Farina, he's the captain of this Eastern Suburbs side, and we've already mentioned number 23, Tristan Hugo, on the bench. Number 9, Takwu's son, number 10, Scott Fulton, number 15, Panito Bellis, number 20, Mitch Biggs, number 14, Austin Juna. Mitch Biggs comes into the squad, he replaces Korsatake, who'll be sitting out this one. Korsatake has had a horrible run of injuries and has really curtailed his National Premier League's Queensland career. Meant that he left Brisbane City last year. He's wound up at Eastern Suburbs along with quite a few of his former Brisbane City teammates. Tristan Hugo, former Brisbane City star. James Meyer, he was at Brisbane City last year, scored 6 goals in 15 injury-interrupted appearances. A 32-year-old former Raw star. He's won 2 championships and a premiership in the A-League with the Brisbane Raw, as well as winning premierships in Myanmar and Hong Kong, as well as enduring a stint in the I-League with Pune. So well-travelled, James Meyer. Other than that, the Eastern Suburbs side are unchanged. Their starting 11 as the two teams walk onto the field. Peninsula Power, just run quickly for them. There have been a couple of changes out of necessity. Richard Hurlin, he's gone down into the 20, so if you double the age, he probably just about doubles under the under-20 banner. And Matt Boyd, he suffered a catastrophic knee injury last week. It was ACL, MCL and a double fracture. He'll be out for the season. And our thoughts and wishes are with him to make sure that he comes good, because that was a nasty injury at Lions Stadium in that victory. It came at a cost for Aaron Phillips' side. In goal for Peninsula Power, Jake Reesby. And then lining up, number 2, Lewis Greenwood. Number 4, Dan Kuna. Number 5, Krishyanevsky. Number 8, Josh Woolley. Number 9, Brenton Fox. Number 10, Tom Strickland. Number 15, Sam Roper. Number 16, Luke Plummer. Number 20, Trent McAvoy. And number 23, Sam Cronin. Players have lined up. Our Total Tools officials. Nathan McDonald is in the middle, as well as Dylan Lambert and Joey Lee named as our officials. It's worth mentioning our team sponsors as well. Eaststar, sponsored by Laurenti's Fresh Food Market. Make sure you go down and check them out. Carlo and the team down there. Excellent produce. And for Peninsula Power, Riot International Freight and Furnax Commercial Furniture help get these guys onto the park. Those of you just joining us, it is a beautiful night here in the southeast corner of Queensland. You can just about see the lights of the big city in the background. We're just under 3 kilometres away from the CBD here at Heath Park, one of the most picturesque grounds you're likely to find in the National Premier Leagues, if cityscapes are your thing. Players are lining up as the kids run off the field. Going to have a moment's silence. Impeccably observed minute's silence there for the young footballer who tragically lost his life this week. If you have just joined us, welcome to this Football Queensland live stream. The two promoted sides from the Football Queensland Premier League doing battle tonight. Eastern Suburbs against Peninsula Power. Peninsula Power have had the rub of the green over Eastern Suburbs in recent years. There were 3 meetings last year. Eastern Suburbs only managed a single goal in those 3 meetings and shipped 11. They lost 3-0 in round 1. They lost 6-1 in round 15 and then 2-0 in the grand final. Dean Briggs, he's had a fantastic run of goal scoring form against Eastern Suburbs. He scored 4 goals in 3 games, but he's out. Did his MCL in a pre-season match, so he will not be here to haunt the men in orange. That is the Eastern Suburbs, who colloquially known as the Tigers. It won't surprise you that they're in orange with the black stripes. Peninsula Power lining up to our left in the blue, but Peninsula Power have a fantastic run here at Heath Park as well. They haven't lost here since 2015. 4 games on the bounce that they have won, including the 2015 grand final. Eastern Suburbs who get things underway, kicking from right to left in the orange, and it'll be interesting to see how these two sides both go. Both coming into this game off wins. Jaden Ballarizo and behind us, but he gives the ball away and it's gone straight to Strickland. Neat link-up play by Fox, playing it out wide to Roper. Roper goes down. Early shout for a penalty. Didn't look like there was much in it, it has to be said. And then the ball's given away cheaply to James Meyer. His first touch of the afternoon in the number 13 shirt. He goes in a little bit late on Luke Plummer, who was a rock at the back for Peninsula Power last week at Lions Stadium. It earned him a Team of the Week nomination. He's a fantastic player. Only scored for 1 goal last year. Eastern Suburbs get us back underway here from the back. Barnett goes back to Byrne, another Team of the Week nominee. It'll be Tristan Hugo launching that ball forward. It's wayward. Tristan Hugo and Preston Hugo, both brothers, both formerly of Brisbane City. I understand John Cosmina did want to retain the services of Preston Hugo. Counted in as a valuable addition to that midfield, but he has found himself at Heath Park. Nice link-up play there by Brenton Fox, former Moreton Bay United man. It's a good tackle in the end. It had to be a good one. Early opportunity. Sam Cronin was the man racing into the penalty area, and he's gone over to take the corner in front of the grandstand here at Eastern Suburbs Football Club. Beautifully picturesque, albeit a little windy, Heath Park. He's taking his time. Peninsula Power lining up, splitting like an acrobatic team. Oh, it's hooked back towards goal. It was always going over though. Nice snapshot though. I think it was Sam Roper who actually scored against Easts back in round 2 of the Football Queensland Premier League competition in that 3-0 victory. 3-0 victory that saw both Peninsula Power keeper Jake Reesby and Eastern Suburbs talisman Jordan Farina sent off. But by that time the game was already done. Early goals in that match. Roper after 6 minutes, Dan Cooner after 13, and Dean Biggs adding the 3rd in the 22nd minute. The red card didn't happen until the 69th. The double red card. Fox comes deep. He was impressive in what I saw of him last year at Moreton Bay United, so it's a good acquisition for Peninsula Power as they look to convert a very impressive season. 2 really impressive seasons, to be honest. They, of course, came second in the league, in the Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League. As Trent McAvoy is taken down late. It was Jordan Farina who was a little bit lax and tardy in arriving at that contested challenge. That ball's looped over top towards Cronin. Cronin does well. Flag was up though. It looked to be a good decision. Cronin just checking on the well-being of Tristan Hugo there. Might have been a stray arm involved. Careless, but certainly not intentional. It'll take a lot to put Tristan Hugo on the deck. He and his brother's nicknames were Fridge and Freezer. Here's James Meyer straight into the chest of our Total Tools referee today. Sly grin from James Meyer. But we go back to the free kick, and Matt Byrne will take that. Another former Moreton Bay United star. He's wearing the captain's armband today. Bellarizo, it's nice. Farina can't quite keep the ball under his control though. And Peninsula Power will look to break now. It's good battling tackle by Preston Hugo, and then a stumble by Matt Byrne. Looks like he's okay, just got his feet caught underneath him. Could have been awkward though. Son. Wide to Barnett. Barnett back inside, and it took an awful bobble that. Head of Jordan Farina. He wasn't able to control, and that was disappointing because Jaden Bellarizo should just slip in there on the left, and that could have been danger for the Peninsula Power defence. Good even start here. If you've just joined us at Heath Park, Simon Smale bringing you this National Premier League's Queensland clash between Eastern Suburbs and Peninsula Power. It's the promotion derby, if that's how you want to coin it. It's Jaden Bellarizo picking up the ball on this near side. Eastern Suburbs in the orange. And that is their captain, Matthew Byrne, going all the way back to Sam Long. That was off the chest, but it's not controlled. Preston Hugo is penalised for the foul on Dan Cooner. Played for 3 seasons at Eastern Suburbs in the Flight Centre Brisbane Premier League, did Dan Cooner. Total of 69 league games for 10 goals. So once again, Cronin just tries to slip his way through. It was well dealt with as he tried to pass the ball through to Brenton Fox. There's a real Sunshine Coast flavour to this Peninsula Power side as ball is once again aimed towards Cronin, but can't quite get there, and it's left to Strickland to chase down. That ball's hammered forward, and the only person anywhere near it is Luke Plummer, and he'll be more than able to take the throw, and has enough time to take the throw and pick out a man easily before even the Eastern Suburbs players were able to get there. It shows just how wayward that long pass was. Space from Fox. Fox is challenged though, and challenged well by Sun, and Sun still going. Sun Hyun-jun. And then that's wayward from James Meyer. It's a disappointing end to that move. Meyer held the hand up. And Abraham Yango had made a run from deep, but it's danger at the other end now. It's looped all the way over. It'll be Lewis Greenwood. Greenwood slides that through to Fox. Fox with the cross. It came off Jaden Bellarizo. He's appealing quite dramatically that it did not come off him last. Well, it certainly appeared to be that way from our angle up here high on the gantry over on the tennis court side of the Heath Park ground. Set play being organised more centrally this time from Peninsula Power, but it is still a line of 4 that has dispersed slightly. They do split. Looked like it was Preston Hugo getting in the way of his own goalkeeper there, Sam Long. It came off a combination of Long and Hugo, and it'll be a repeat dose from the corner. Josh Woolley delivered that one well. He scored against East back in round 15 last year in that 6-1 thumping up at AJ Kelly. So there's threats all over the park for Peninsula Power, and remember, this is a team that hasn't lost in the regular season in 33 straight games. Not sure what the record is, but wouldn't be far off that. Headed clear, but it'll only go as far as Sam Cronin, who has support back in the form of Lewis Greenwood, but doesn't go to him. Instead, it's inside to Strickland. Strickland has a fair bit of space. It's going to go wide. All the way wide to Cronin, then back inside, the shot flashes across. It was Janchevsky, who I've been told to watch out for. He was magnificent last week, the 22-year-old from the Sunshine Coast, former Noosa Lion. Lions mauling Tigers. We'll have plenty of jokes about that later in the season, no doubt, but played 82 games in McDonald's Premiership, scoring 19 goals. Goal scoring not really his forte, but certainly an impactful player. He was part of the Noosa Lions' fantastic FFA Cup run all the way to the 7th qualification round. And played as a teammate of, and indeed under, the current Olympic coach, Ben Kahn. It'll be a fond reunion later in the year, no doubt, when Olympic eventually get their campaign underway. They had the bye last week. They were due to travel all the way up to Mackay this week, but due to the weather event that's taking place in North Queensland at the moment, well, play goes down on the edge of the area. It was Strickland, I think, and he's got up limping. It is a free kick in a very dangerous position for Peninsula Power. I think he felt that, Tom Strickland. He's gingerly walking away now and down on his haunches. Some discussion as to whether it should have been a free kick or not, but I think the referee got that spot on, our Total Tools official in the middle. The man in the green. And who do you take from here? Josh Woolley's standing over it. Sam Cronin, former Olympic man. He's there too. He's in fine goal scoring fettle. Sam Cronin got 2 last week. Can he get the first here? Oh, it's low. It's a good save. A really good save from Sam Long. Got down low to his left. It was a clever free kick from Sam Cronin. And Peninsula Power have taken this corner quickly. Roper slides that back inside. Offside was Dan Cooner. It was intelligent play. Unfortunately got let down at the last there, but a lovely save from Sam Long. Really, really good stuff. He's preserved his clean sheet thus far. It is still Eastern Suburbs 0, Peninsula Power 0 in the National Premier League Queensland. You're watching thanks to the Football Queensland website, of course on Facebook and YouTube as well. Cooner looking to atone for that mistake in straying offside by trying to meet the header, but he jumps and only meets air. Valorizo with a nice little flick. Had an interesting National Premier League Queensland debut, did Jaden Valorizo. We'll recount that over the course of the evening, no doubt. Tristan Hugo looks central, but instead goes wide. He gets the ball back. Long raking ball towards Valorizo. Valorizo's control a little bit heavy, allows Greenwood to nip in, and Greenwood is being pressured by Valorizo. Keep your eye on that little contest. It's a dangerous ball across, especially with James Meyer, who gets those 32-year-old legs moving. He does well to chase that ball back. It is him who gets hold of the ball there and wins a throw-in for his side over on that far side of the field, the city side at Heath Park. It's the river just behind those trees as well. Beautiful, beautiful ground. A 29-year-old Saw from Rockhampton. Yango. Inside to Huanjun. Meyer. Well blocked there by Roper. Still manages to squeeze a cross in though. Reesby was fairly loud in getting his viewpoint across to his defenders to leave that one well alone, and doesn't need to use his hands. Goes wide to McAvoy. McAvoy goes long, a little aimless. Byrne deals with it comfortably. Valorizo. When June manages to create space for himself somehow. Has a little bit of a battle with Strickland. Strickland wins out on that occasion. Really good tackle from the Peninsula Power man. It's his 4th season up in Redcliffe. Tom Strickland gives Wenjun the no-nonsense there as well. Strickland again, linking up play brilliantly in the midfield. He's going to go wide. Really nice football from Peninsula Power. Back inside to Sam Cronin. First time shot was always going wide, but that just shows how dangerous Peninsula Power can be. Just move the ball around so quickly in midfield when the opportunity presents. Eastern Suburbs once again going short from the back to Byrne. Tristan Hugo. Farina been quiet so far. Bellarizo manages to hit the back foot of Lewis Greenwood. We're going to see a yellow card. It's an early yellow card for Jaden Bellarizo. Now seems as good a time as any to recount his debut in the National Premier League's Queensland. He was at Brisbane City in 2017. He got onto the field as a very late substitute in the 88th or 89th minute, if I recall, and was sent off about 90 seconds later for an over-enthusiastic introduction to the game. May or may not have involved his forehead. It was a way to introduce yourself to John Cosmina's side, that's for certain. He didn't make another appearance in the senior team at Corporate Travel Management Stadium. Preston Hugo does well, another former City man. Gets his foot to that. It is a Peninsula Power throw though, and Josh Woolley does really well to win the throw again. Great hold-up play. Greenwood inside. That's really nice from Greenwood. Roper inside that time to Fox. Here's Bellarizo. That's the first booking of the game for Jaden Bellarizo. Hugo tried to slip inside there on Dan Cooner, and it's very dangerous. Just foot a little bit left in there perhaps from the younger of the two Hugo boys. Headed clear by the elder that time, Preston Hugo, the younger, appealing for a free kick. They do get everywhere, particularly Preston Hugo. He's got an enormous engine in him for a young man, still a teenager. Plays exciting football, and he's definitely one to watch. A lot of space on this near side though. To pick a target, it's too long. It's a nice idea from Trent McAvoy. Aimed towards Brenton Fox, but Long was, well, able to gather that overhit pass. Tristan to Preston. It was hooked away by Luke Plummer. It'll be Peninsula Power throw. Must have come off Preston Hugo last. Well won from behind by Yango. Tristan Hugo wide to Barnett. Bellarizo has space now. How can he use it? James Meyer wants it. It's a poor pass from Bellarizo behind James Meyer. He had plenty of time to pick that pass, and Peninsula Power will lap up this. Fox links up play over on that far side. He wants it back, Fox, but instead Tom Strickland will go wide. Fox eventually does get the ball back, but back to Cooner. Fox. Just an update from Briggs Road. Western Pride leading Gold Coast Knights by a goal to nil. Half an hour gone in that match. A couple of other games to tell you about as well. Redlands United were 1-0 up against Brisbane Strikers at the Cleveland Showgrounds yesterday, but Strikers came from a goal down to run out 2-1 winners. So a free kick is given over on that far side. Up on the range in Toowoomba, Brisbane Roar youth have continued their fine season and a fine week for the Brisbane Roar as a whole. They beat the Thunder by 5-2. Lions beat Gold Coast United by the solitary 0 down at the new centre on the Gold Coast. Here's Cooner though, attention back on Heath Park. James Meyer is the last man back, and he Didn't get a call from Long, so hooks the ball out wide. It'll be a throw-in in an attacking position for Peninsula Power. It's still 0-0 in the early stages here at Heath Park. Two promoted sides from the Football Queensland Premier League as the ball is hooked on. Long able to gather that time. And just wants to settle things down, although Abraham Yango has made an almighty burst from the midfield and a little bit too long from the Eastern Suburbs goalkeeper. It's been 64% possession in favour of the visitors so far. They've had 3 shots, all off target though. Well, I think that's a little bit harsh on Sam Long, because one of those looked certainly looked like it was going towards goal, if not for that brilliant save by Sam Long. Those are the stats I'm given. It was a good tackle by Meyer, but picked up by Kuna. Now wide, just underneath us here by Lewis Greenwood. Greenwood goes forward, chooses to attack, and comes unstuck against Alex Barnett, who stood his ground well. Long towards Farina. Gets the flick on, but Plummer's back there to nod the ball backwards towards Reesby. It was close to Jordan Farina, trying to direct traffic up front. Oh, nice little flick there. Really nice flick from Sam Cronin. He's a talented player, is Sam Cronin. He shows it with those little flicks. If not for those constant injuries, his hamstrings just not quite behaving themselves over the course of his career, particularly in the latter years of it. Just wonder where he could have gone, but Roper forward to Strickland. Greenwood, that ball almost hit us, but is adjudged to have been still in play. Barnett does well. Hugo mops up, passes back to his brother Tristan, and Tristan goes back to Sam Long. Started last season at Moreton Bay United. Was in the squad for 15 games, but was always behind Bez Arai, Puri Anabi's plans, so moved to Easts mid-season from June. Kept 3 clean sheets as the side won promotion to the National Premier League Queensland, along with their opponents today, Peninsula Power, although they did finish 20 points behind Peninsula Power in the 2018 Football Queensland Premier League. They scored plenty of goals as well, 95 in the course of their 24-game season. A lot of those, of course, coming from the boot of Uli Scholl, who will be lining up in the red and white of Olympic this season. Scored 35 goals in 25 appearances, including finals, including the only goal that Eastern Suburbs scored against Peninsula Power last year. They're yet to find the back of the net in this one as well, but so too are the visitors Peninsula Power. It is still goalless here at Heath Park, round 2 of the National Premier League Queensland 2019 season. Tristan Hugo comes out to snuff out the danger, but has his pocket picked by Fox. Fox twisting and turning, good cross. Is it going to go out for a corner? No, it's kept in and away for a throw-in over on that far side. It's a good result in the end for Eastern Suburbs, because that could have been a lot worse. Tristan Hugo getting a bit unstuck against Fox, showing what a talented player he can be. Here comes the cross. It's a little bit over everyone. Plummer was there to jump. Here's Strickland. What can he do? He'd like to have his time again, I'd imagine. Just had a question from Oz Goals asking about Dean Briggs. He damaged his MCL in a pre-season match against South United. Just one of those 50-50 collisions. Both players kicking the ball at the same time, but he's been given about 8 to 10 weeks before he can come back, so he's had a couple of those already. He'll be back banging in the goals, I'm sure, for Peninsula Power later on in the season. Meyer with the flick on. It'll be gathered by Yango. Oh, it was Farina who was leaping into the box. Here's James Meyer. What can Meyer do? Doesn't want to shoot on his left. Has a go with his right. Gets a deflection, and Roper's there to hack the ball away straight towards the Peninsula Power dugout. Why didn't James Meyer have a swing with his left? Hugo flicks the ball inside to Farina. Farina tried the extravagant. There was a late challenge there. The referee has decided to let it go, but Yango might count his blessings that the referee's back was turned on that occasion. He was very late. Play is allowed to continue anyway. Lovely ball out wide by Brenton Fox. Valorizo was there to mop up though. Firm chest from Tristan Hugo. It couldn't be gathered by Barnett. They managed to link up this time though. Valorizo looks to go inside. James Meyer has an acre of space in the midfield. What can he do with it? Farina's left. Yango was right. Instead, James Meyer decided to play right at the feet of Trent McAvoy. Woolley. Understand his mother's watching. I'm sure she wishes him all the best. Cronin cutting back inside. A lot of space on this near side now for Lewis Greenwood. Greenwood, good looking cross, that one. Oh, Cronin was arriving at the back post after it missed Josh Woolley. Was kept in there by Yango. He's done really well there, but it might be the wrong option. Free shot from Brenton Fox. You'd expect him to do better in that situation normally, at least hit the target, but another shot and another chance goes begging for Peninsula Power. They have had the better of it. They haven't been able to find the back of the net. Yango did want to have a bit of a discussion with the referee over a perhaps late bit of contact. It was a short conversation, I can tell you that. The Suburbs setting up to go through the middle. Spread out wide. Fox with the slide on Hyunjun. Oh, it's a lovely ball from Hyunjun. It was well in advance though of Yango, who is quick. Flag was up on Jordan Farina, and Farina is just having a polite conversation, another polite conversation with the referee. Cooner and Plummer just playing amongst themselves, and Farina chased, and he made it awkward for them and rushed the pass eventually, and it's turned out all right for Eastern Suburbs. What can they make from this opportunity? Byrne. Valorizo wants it, has space as well. Power dropping off. Oh, and it's a poor pass again from Valorizo. He's getting into good space, this young Valorizo, but he's just unable to do anything with it. Here's Fox, he's also getting into space and does incredibly well with it. Here's Cronin, he's crowded out of it somewhat, has to go back to Dan Cooner. Inside to Fox. Tristan Hugo's dispossessed, battles with Fox. Nothing doing, says the referee. Dan Cooner takes up possession. Here's Cronin. Cronin with the shot. Hit his own man. And once again, it's James Meyer who's back. And Eastern Suburbs will catch their breath and look to play the ball forward. That's snuck through to Jordan Farina, and Valorizo can't quite get there. It's just not quite happening up front for Eastern Suburbs at the moment. Those final passes just not going all that well at all. Not finding their man. Was Fox offside? Looked like it initially from my angle. I've been wrong about these things before, multiple times. That's a good ball. It could have been a good ball. It was a nice option. It was a good run, in fact, from Jordan Farina, but then it was rather wasted by Matthew Byrne, who is better than that. He'll be disappointed. Here's an opportunity perhaps to trap West Peninsula Power in over on that far side, peg them in, peg them back, but that's not how it's worked out. Still rather an aimless ball lumped forward, comfortably dealt with by Tristan Hugo. Space for Yango. Yango goes again wide to Saw. Referee forward for Matthew Saw. Our former Moreton Bay star coming out of our ears here at Heath Park today in round 2 of the National Premier League Queensland. Still goalless in this game. Just approaching the half-hour mark, and out in Ipswich at Briggs Road. It's Western Pride 1, Gold Coast Knights 0 still. Only a couple of minutes to go before half-time out there in the west. Cover results: Lions beat Gold Coast United by 1-0 down on the Gold Coast, and Brisbane Roar Youth thumped South West Queensland Thunder by 5-2 to move top of this fledgling National Premier League's Queensland ladder after just 1.5 rounds. Kuna challenged by Meyer. Meyer doing enough to force the ball back, but there's no support from Eastern Suburbs, who are sitting back. Look how deep Sam Cronin's come to suddenly get the ball. It's cut out by Hugo, but it was a poor touch. Still battling though. Strickland comes out with it. Lovely ball out wide towards Ganchevsky. He's been quiet up against Yango. Oh, Yango with a lovely turn. He gets away from danger. Understand that we're having a few audio issues. We'll hopefully get those sorted as soon as possible, but if you can hear us, we hope you're enjoying this live broadcast. Get in touch with us and join the conversation. Lovely bit of control there from Preston Hugo. Wins a free kick eventually. There's a little bit too much manhandling going on by Sam Roper. And Preston Hugo's going to have a little bit of a discussion here with the referee, perhaps over the way he's reacted a couple of times from these challenges. It was a good advantage being played by our referee. Did a very good job in allowing the play to develop, and when it didn't, go back for the free kick. It's kind of what you want from referees. Tristan Hugo sprays that ball wide to Yango. Yango's been good and looks good here, cutting back inside. James Myers onside. Ball inside to Farina! And Farina gets the opening goal for Eastern Suburbs, and out of nothing, it is the hosts who have the lead. It's their first shot on target. Yeah, it's their first shot at all. And Eastern Suburbs have shocked Peninsula Power here. 32 minutes gone. Eastern Suburbs lead by 1-0, and was it going to be anyone else other than Jordan Farina to get the goal? You'd say not. He managed a goal a game last year, 25 in 25. And all of a sudden, Peninsula Power have some work to do. They need to start making more of their chances. There was a bit of a discussion just then as Tom Strickland questioned perhaps the validity of awarding the free kick, but you have to say it was a lovely move from Eastern Suburbs, and played in part by Abraham Yango. Fast feet and cut back inside. It was equally a very, very good ball by the former Raw man James Meyer, proving his worth for his new club after signing in the off-season from Brisbane City. What can the visitors reply with here? Cronin back in the midfield. Here's Roper. Roper cuts inside. Fox with the snapshot. Oh, it pops up through offside. I'd have to question that. Janchevsky it was who had the shot in the end, I think. I'm not quite sure whether he was offside though. But a snapshot from Brenton Fox. He showed plenty of that for Moreton Bay United last year. He can turn on a dime and just fire balls in towards goal, but nevertheless, that one got a deflection from Janchevsky, even if he hadn't been offside, which I still think he might not have been. Played the ball wide of the post anyway, and Sam Long and Eastern Suburbs can take a breath and start to enjoy their lead. They do lead by 1-0. And will that give them the necessary confidence? It was the first shot of any form that Eastern Suburbs have managed, but if you're efficient, it doesn't matter, I guess, how many shots you have, as long as you get at least a couple. Cronin comes inside, flag is up on this near side. Apologies, it wasn't Sam Cronin, it was Josh Woolley over on that far side. Apologies to that. Suburbs will press forward. The ball with the wind is launched towards Farina. Farina back to Meyer. Meyer tried to find Tristan Hugo, but got a little bit confused and missed his man. Well watched by Byrne. Here a bit more shouting from Eastern Suburbs now. That was Jordan Farina screaming at his side to box them in. He's not getting much support though, and eventually, belatedly, Tristan Hugo joined the party, but far too late. And Peninsula Power are going to break away quickly, but not quickly enough. Here's Farina for another one. It's two! It's two in as many minutes! What a horrible error! Yango was the beneficiary of that gift from the Peninsula Power defence, and that was hugely uncharacteristic from the reigning Football Queensland Premier League champions. And out of nothing, Eastern Suburbs are 2 goals to the good. Two goals in 2 minutes for Jordan Farina. I don't think he could have believed his luck. Good composure from Abraham Yango. He was down on his knees celebrating that goal as Jordan Farina was accepting the plaudits of his teammates. It's a real horrible error though. What can Cronin do now? What can Fox do now? Not enough. Oh, it's a horrible error. Farina must have been just onside. That's a real disappointment for the hosts. Ball wide. Woolley, it's gone across goal, and it was safety first from Alex Barnett. Out for a corner. Brahim Yango's hands on his knees, on his haunches almost. Still 15 minutes to go before half time. Might have to have a bit more puff. I know it's early in the season. What are Peninsula Power going to do here? They have amassed just on the edge of the penalty area. Again, there's 3 men, apologies, towards the front of the goal. Balarizo occupies for space on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed clear. Tristan Hugo needs to have better control than that. He's missed a couple of times, and here's another opportunity now for Eastern Suburbs on the counter-attack. Abraham Yango on his own. He runs straight into Lewis Greenwood. It's good defending. There was a couple of calls, but Yango looks spent, to be honest. Oh, that was an ugly looking challenge from Farina, and they're racing in here. There might be fisticuffs here. Oh, there was a high arm there. Tell you what, it's all kicking off here. Balarizo was involved. Balarizo is down now. It's a yellow card for Jordan Farina. That was well warranted. It was a very, very high kick. A few players saying disgusting now. We'll have a look at it. Yeah, Farina, but I don't think Kuna needed to come in, and then that was Balarizo who went in. Then Balarizo went down. Balarizo went in on Roper. How will the officials deal with this? There's still a few conversations going on. A little bit unsavoury here. As tempers are raised. Peninsula Power probably wouldn't have expected to find themselves 2 goals down the way they were playing going into the half-hour mark, it has to be said. But referees have a bit of a job to do here, our Total Tools referee. Just a reminder, in the round 2 clash in the Football Queensland Premier League, there were 2 red cards in that game, and it was Jordan Farina who got one. The other being Jake Reesby, and I don't think Jake Reesby got involved in this one, and he's quite wisely stayed well away. But there's a bit of a conflab now between our Total Tools referees. Balarizo, I did say he got sent off pretty early in his National Premier League Queensland career. There was no need for Kuna to come in, it has to be said. As we see a replay here, and Balarizo did get a big 2 hands up in the face of Sam Roper. And if the refereeing team saw that, you'd say the youngster might be in a spot of bother. He committed the most fouls of any player in an Eastern Suburbs shirt last weekend. I have to say, it's a really ugly challenge. I mean, really ugly challenge. First up as well from Jordan Farina, has to be said. And Jordan Farina has been sent off here, and Jaden Balarizo has been sent off, and we've had 3 red cards. The Balarizo, red card. Farina, red card for double goal scorer. He got a yellow card initially, then a red card. We're also seeing a red card for Dan Kuna. So there's 3 players off. There's some conversation still going on. Dan Kuna, who didn't need to go in the first place, just needs to walk off here, I think. Unfortunately, they're all walking off in the same direction, so this conversation might be ongoing. Wisely, the 2 Peninsula Power players have chosen to take their own counsel, and Jaden Balarizo, having been cautioned very early in this game, was shown the red card. And now there's a conversation going on with the most senior player on the field now, James Meyer, 32-year-old former Raw star, just getting some explanation from the referee. It was a straight red, it wasn't a second yellow for Farina. And it was a straight red for Balarizo as well, and a straight red for Dan Kuna. So we've thinned the ranks somewhat here in this first half. We promised you drama, we promised you that these 2 teams knew each other pretty well, and familiarity can only breed contempt, it has to be said, particularly when in a sporting context. And what will these 2 teams manage to do with the extra space, particularly Peninsula Power, who are playing against 9 men of Eastern Suburbs, who, it should be remembered, lead by 2-0, but their goal scorer has been sent from the field. Here's that space, Roper finding it and using it. What a space over on that far side for Cronin. Cronin, it's a flying save. What can be done here though by Strickland? He can't hit the target, and you have to hit the target in that situation, you have to think, because Sam Long had dived full stretch to punch that ball clear, and he's going to take a little bit of time now and have a drink, as he's perfectly entitled to do, I guess, but nevertheless he should get a little bit of a move on. You'd have thought it's going to be a very turgid last hour if we are wasting time in this early stages. I think the officiating team got that right, has to be said. I mean, looking at the replay, you can't put your hands up into someone's face, Jaden Balarizo. Dan Kuna didn't need to come in, and it was a shocking tackle really from Farina. Not particularly dangerous, but just stupid really from Jordan Farina. Meyer goes down, and that was a foul by Sam Roper. Meyer fell rather in slow motion, but he was certainly clipped and had his leg hooked. He goes back to Barnett, who goes back to Byrne. Byrne is the captain, despite James Meyer engaging with the Total Tools referee. Tristan Hugo just caught in possession again, that time by Fox. Yeah, certainly a foul on the Eastern Suburbs number 13. He's on the ball now, once again against Roper. Holds the ball up well. This is a sort of game now in which James Meyer can really come into his own. He holds the ball up so well in those advanced areas. Just has that level head on his shoulder. But that's another poor pass from Tristan Hugo. You have to say he's not having a good game, the centre-back. Eastern Suburbs do escape eventually, and Yango looks towards the referee, but there's nothing doing there. Greenwood comes forward now for the 10 men of Peninsula Power. Woolley. It's a shot from Strickland. It's comfortably saved by Long. Yes, you heard that right. The 10 men of Peninsula Power, if you've just joined us. Although they're taking on the 9 men of Eastern Suburbs. Jaden Ballarizo and Jordan Freena, both given straight red cards. Yango was obstructed, and a yellow card is given to Trent McAvoy. He asks what for. Well, it was for blocking, but I mean, I'm not quite sure whether that was worthy of a yellow card based on what we've seen so far today. As we approach the half-time break, if you have just joined us, you've missed a lot of action. Eastern Suburbs taking a surprise lead through Jordan Farina after some excellent work from Yango and a lovely cross from James Meyer, and then Yango was given a gift on the edge of a penalty, a terrible pass, and I think it was McAvoy who delivered that pass straight at the feet of Yango, who played in Farina for a very, very easy second. He just lifted the ball over Reesby. And then the madness happened, really. The red mist descended. A shocking tackle from Farina. We'll stick with this, actually, before we continue our recap as Strickland moves forward. Roper goes wide to Janchevsky. Janchevsky plays the ball out, and James Meyer wants the throw-in, but he's not going to get it. A lot of space on this near side for Greenwood. You'd expect that with 3 fewer bodies on the field. Fox was ghosting in at the back. Tristan Hugo. You can hear the thoughts of the Eastern Suburbs defensive line. They thought he was offside. I didn't see if the flag went up, and it was just ignored by the referee as play was allowed to continue. But here are Peninsula Power. Here's Cronin wide to Greenwood. Greenwood's been looking for that for the last couple of minutes. It's headed clear by Hugo, but hooks back inside and headed clear again. James Meyer gets his foot on the ball, testing out those hamstrings. Janchevsky is battling against him and does well, but it'll be a throw-in, or is it a goal kick? They're still arguing with the assistant official on this near side, Sam Long in particular, asking quite what constitutes a player to be offside. He can continue to ask, and they can perhaps have that discussion over their slices of orange and Gatorade or whatever it is they get through as we tick off into the added time at the end of this first half, and there'll be plenty. We'll just run you through the major flashpoint of this first half again while we're waiting for any sort of spherical object to be returned onto the field so we can continue play. It was a shocking tackle from Jordan Farina. He managed to kick up high around the waist, which earned him a yellow card. Then Dan Kuna came screaming in and pushed Farina off the ball. Ballarizo came back in, pushed Sam Roper in the face, didn't need to raise his hands as the whistle goes for half-time. Eastern Suburbs leading Peninsula Power by 2-0, but that doesn't tell half the story. Ballarizo pushed Sam Roper to the deck. There was a bit of a conflab, a bit of a coming together, a bit of a disagreement between the two sides. And then the referee chose to show a straight red card to Farina, a straight red card to Ballarizo. The red card to Ballarizo was fair. Both hands were up. Dan Kuna, he came in. Whether or not that's fair, it's hard to tell. I didn't see exactly what was happening over in the other, within the melee. But Farina could have been given a red card for the first tackle, it has to be said. It was high, it was reckless, but not necessarily dangerous. He didn't hit him with any force, I think it's fair to say. Nevertheless, it was a fantastically entertaining first half of action between these two sides. The last time these two sides met in round 2 in a Football Queensland competition was just last year, and neither side managed to keep 11 players on the field on that occasion. That happened in the 69th minute last season. This year they've got plenty more to deal with. Just give you a quick look at the stats. Peninsula Power were dominating possession in the first half, the first half of that first half. It did end up evening up slightly. They still are bossing it with 55% possession and have had 5 shots off target and 1 on target. I'm glad they've credited that 1 on target, but I think there might have been 2. Sam Long pulled off a brilliant save, a really brilliant save early on in that first half. As for Eastern Suburbs, they've had 2 shots on target. Both of them have found the back of the net. Second one probably wasn't even a shot so much as more of a walking into the back of the net from Jordan Freena. But the only stats you need to know are the Eastern Suburbs lead Peninsula Power, the reigning Football Queensland Premier League champions, by 2 goals to 0. They are 2 men down though. Peninsula Power are a man down. We'll wrap things up here at the end of the first half, but don't go anywhere. There is plenty to go here in this one. If you're wondering what the score is in the other game taking place at the moment out in Ipswich, Western Pride are leading Gold Coast Knights by 1 goal to 0. We'll have a short break, check out these short messages, and we'll be back for what should be a thoroughly entertaining second 45 minutes. I've been Simon Smale. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very shortly. For White, breaks into the penalty area, 1-0 Olympic!
95 minutes in, and Sean Carlos...
Ball right into a dangerous area, and the ball is in the back of the net!
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit.
It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
into the penalty area. 1-0 Olympic.
95 minutes in, and Sean Carlos.
Ball right into a dangerous area, and the ball is in the back of the net.
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
competition.
Community spirit. It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
Laurenti's Fresh Food Market, for lovers of high quality, delicious fresh food. Laurenti's is a customer-focused family business, providing great value, backed up by years of industry experience. Laurenti's, open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days.
For White, breaks into the penalty area, 1-0 Olympic! 95 minutes in, and Sean Carl right into a dangerous area, and the ball is in the back of the net!
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit. It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
Laurenti's Fresh Food Market, for lovers of high quality, delicious fresh food. Laurenti's is a customer-focused family business, providing great value, backed up by years of industry experience. Laurenti's, open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days.
For White, breaks into the penalty area, 1-0 Olympic! 95 minutes in, and Sean Carl right into a dangerous area, and the ball is in the back of the net!
Why do I play football?
Why do we play football? I play for fitness.
For competition.
Community spirit. It's healthy and safe.
And fun.
I play for celebration.
What's your reason? Join our team.
Welcome back to Heath Park. Hope you've relaxed and recuperated after what was a dramatic first half. If you've just joined us, Eastern Suburbs took a perhaps unexpected 2-0 lead. It was against the run of play, I think that's fair to say. And then all hell broke loose. There was a bad tackle, and it has to be said it was a bad tackle from Jordan Farina. His foot was high, it pretty much caught around the midriff rather than anywhere else. It was just a very poor tackle. It was initially shown a yellow card. But then that sparked a bit of a melee, at which point Jordan Ballarizo came in with 2 hands to the face of, I think, Sam Roper, who went down onto the deck. Then Ballarizo went down after presumably some action within the melee. Dan Cooner had come from a long way off to remonstrate with Jordan Farina after the tackle. All 3 of those were shown straight red cards, so despite the fact that Farina and Ballarizo had both been booked earlier on, they were both straight red cards. There'll be plenty of discussion after the match, I'm sure. I think I saw a few discussions going on between Danny Wright and our Total Tools referee as well, as the 2 teams make their way onto the field. Eastern Suburbs in the orange, out before before Peninsula Power in the blue. The reason I've got Western Pride on my mind is the fact that that stream is down for the moment. They're just having a few technical issues out in Ipswich, and judging by the amount of lightning that I can see over to our left, I'm not going to suggest anything, but we might have a little bit of technical issues here as well, considering we're standing on a metal scaffold high above the field here at Heath Park. There's a band of weather coming across. We'll keep you posted on that. And mostly it'll be because my support staff disappear down the ladder, and you'll probably hear that before I see it. So, plenty of players off the field. There should be plenty of space on it for the players to make the most. Peninsula Power down to 10 men, Eastern Suburbs down to 9. It'll be interesting to see whether Eastern Suburbs can hold on for what will be their first win here at Heath Park against against Peninsula Power since 2015. It's been a long, long way, and more importantly, perhaps, it'll be the first defeat that Peninsula Power have suffered in the regular season since the 3rd of June 2017. That's some record they're defending, Peninsula Power. They won't give it up without a fight. You can guarantee that. Sekou Jamandi, former Moreton Bay United player, has come onto the field. He's down in front of us. I'll let you know who's gone off when I work it out. I think that's the only change. I can't see any changes elsewhere. But Jamandi is on. He did play last week. Former Lion. Played at Wolves as well before joining Moreton Bay United, and it's Peninsula Power starting the way they started the first half, really dominating possession. It's a neat ball towards, or from Sam Cronin wide. It's aimed towards the centre circle, penalty spot, apologies. Jamandi was there, unfortunately for Eastern Suburbs. So was Tristan Hugo, and he managed to send it behind. You might be able to, you won't be able to see it, but just behind that goal there's an impressive light show going on in the clouds. Ball is swung in. It's a testing one for Long. He does gather high above his head and launches that ball wide towards James Meyer, but he's dispossessed. He'll look to win this one back. Has to not concede possession or concede a foul, and Yango does really well to just nip in there and dispossess Chris Janchevsky. Preston Hugo. It was Yango who went down, and a free kick in a promising position for Eastern Suburbs. They'll take their time, you would have thought. Still a long, long way to go in this game. It's a long, long way to have to defend a 2-goal lead. They say a 2-goal lead is that when you're at your most vulnerable. However, they probably don't include the fact that you're a man down in those statements, so you're even more vulnerable in this occasion. Looks like Abraham Yango fancies himself here. four-man wall. Yango gets it up over the top and just over the top of the bar as well. Wasn't far away. Really good start for Eastern Suburbs. I've been impressed by Ibrahim Yango. Only played 62 minutes last week. Did manage to nab an assist for 22-year-old. Roper wants it back, but instead it's wide to Janchevsky. Chevsky goes wide to the substitute Jamande. Jamande, a lot of space on the outside of the box for Cronin. It's always fizzing wide. Oh, it took a deflection on the way through. Son Hyunjun, who was closing down, so must have got a touch off the South Korean, and it'll be a corner kick over on that far side. Saw a couple of set plays from corner kicks from Peninsula Power in the first half. Seems a little bit more free this time. Cronin goes near post. The ball is aimed far post towards Plummer, and it's comfortably gathered at his near post by Sam Long. Exercising spatial awareness sometimes, describing corners. That ball was aimed a fair few feet in front of James Meyer, who showed absolutely no interest in chasing it down, and Peninsula Power comfortably gather possession. Cronin, lovely sprayed pass and lovely control from Janchevsky. Janchevsky inside onto his right foot. It was hacked clear by Byrne, former Moreton Bay United man. Oh, James Meyer does well to nip in there. It's excellent work from the former Brisbane Raw star, and he's taking the ball up that left-hand side now. He's challenged by Strickland, of whom he managed to get in the way of. He goes to deck, as does Yango. Yango's was his own doing. I think James Meyer had a little bit of help in going to ground, but nothing doing, says the referee. Here's Jamande, always a threat. Does well. Was the ball out? It was. And it's thrashed towards goal anyway by Woolley, and was deflected wide, so no harm done. And Brenton Fox is going to try and hurry things up. Still trying to work out who has been sacrificed here from Peninsula Power. I think it might have been Lewis Greenwood, the 19-year-old. He's come up from Victoria. Yes, I can't see the number 2 out there anymore, so Lewis Greenwood is the man who is asked to make way for Sekou Jamande. More attacking from Peninsula Power, and Jamande has a dig. It was always flying wide though, but I haven't been short of having shots towards the goal. It's just getting them on target that's been the problem of the reigning Football Queensland Premier League champions and premiers. Of course, they won last week against the reigning National Premier League's Queensland champions and premiers, and National Premier League's finalists overall. Lions, they won by 2-1. It was 2 goals from Sam Cronin, who has been asked to drop deeper and deeper to get the ball. That's him just on the halfway line now, as Hyunjun picks up possession, and here's Yango, who's Son Hyunjun, who managed to slide in and steal possession, and Yango tried to make the most of it but was unable to do so. Almost picked off there by Hugo. Here's Jamande wide left. Jamande crashes into his marker. It's back towards the edge of the area, and Woolley high over the bar. And it's more impressive build-up play from Peninsula Power, but no end product at the moment, and that's something that would have surprised a lot of people coming into this game. They just scored so freely last year, Peninsula Power, in the Football Queensland Premier League, and they scored so freely against Eastern Suburbs. This is a much changed Eastern Suburbs side. There are only 7 survivors. Well, 7 seems quite a large number, but 7 survivors from the grand final defeat at the back end of last season, but the players they've added have real strength. They're going to be asked to use those defensive strengths at the moment, and they do manage to conspire to get that ball back towards Sam Long, who chose not to pick it up. It was possibly wisely. I'm not sure. It could have been considered a back pass, but it's always best not to second guess, as Peninsula Power are about to make a second change. Sam Roper is being withdrawn. And that looks like the familiar face of Ramon Close. He's been around the traps, the 29-year-old. Fantastic player and a fantastic ambassador for Indigenous football here in Queensland. Does a lot of work, including setting up the National Indigenous Championships that were held at Logan in the off-season. Janchevsky getting his angles all wrong and playing that cross into the side netting. And again, if this is to continue, Peninsula Power are going to set up camp in the Eastern Suburbs half, attacking away from the clubhouse, and just have to see how things progress for the visitors and whether they can break down this stubborn Eastern Suburbs defence, who held them out in first half. Foot was high, and Ramon Close did put his hand up, and then still questions, and I think he's right to question, but nevertheless Total Tools referee was right on hand, and he had judged the boot to have got a little bit too close to Tristan Hugo's head. It is a free kick which Hugo himself takes. James Meyer goes down that left-hand side, 13 on number 23, Sam Cronin. It was a shoulder, but Cronin does end up getting the better of James Meyer. Wins a throw-in for his side. McAvoy. Ball is encouraging Janchevsky to go forward. Jamande is inside him. Jamande can only pick out James Meyer, and you can hear the groan. And now Jamande is out of position, as is Janchevsky. And what can Yango do? He's shown great speed and awareness so far in this game, but he runs up a blind alley there and is dispossessed by Luke Plummer, who is showing why he was named in the Football Queensland Team of the Week last week. Had a few Team of the Weeks last year as well, but what I'm referencing was last week against Lions. Strickland goes wide, gets the ball back. Cronin makes a run inside. It's smashed clear by Hugo. Only as far as McAvoy, though. It's all the way through to Janchevsky. Janchevsky's going to get there. He's going to have time as well to pick his spot. Forced to go back, though. It's Preston Hugo chasing out. Plummer inside. Is this going to be an audacious effort from Woolley? Took a deflection, though, and it's worked out okay for Peninsula Power. A corner. They've been threatening from these set pieces. As the Lightning approaches from the left, as you see things on your screens. Thank you for joining us. Simon Smale bringing you all the action of this National Premier League's Queensland clash. The corner's taken quickly to Strickland. Strickland! It was further away than I thought. We've had a goal out west. The stream is up and running again at Briggs Road, and Gold Coast Knights have equalised against the 2017 champions. It's Western Pride 1, Gold Coast Knights, the newcomers, 1. Knights, of course, shared the spoils with Mackay and Whitsunday's Magpies Crusaders United last week, 1-1 down at the Croatian Sports Centre. Ramon Close putting pressure on Byrne. Not enough. Eastern Suburbs are able to clear. That's a nice 1-2 between Preston Hugo and Yango, but it was too far ahead of Hugo, the return ball, and Peninsula Power will come away again. Here's Cronin. Cronin sprays that ball wide. There is so much space on this field now with 3 bodies off it. It's 2 for Eastern Suburbs, both sent off. Jamande heads the ball back, but only to Preston Hugo. Janchevsky didn't look too interested in getting that one clear, and they're kicking into the headwind as well, our Eastern Suburbs. Plummer controlling that one well. He goes wide to McAvoy, centre-back teammate. Back inside now. Lovely football from Fox. Fox races into the area, and how's that not gone in? Oh my goodness me. I might have to have a look at that again on our screens here. It was wonderful work from Brenton Fox, the former Moreton Bay man. Just smashes his way into some space, and it was a deft turn. We are going to see a substitution while we catch up with things here on our live stream. It's the hosts who are going to make a change. Lovely work from Fox, and he races in and fires that one across, and on second viewing I'm still not sure what happened, to be honest. James Meyer going off. And if it is, that's a big loss actually for Eastern Suburbs. James Meyer, he only managed 58 minutes last week. He hasn't quite managed that much this week. And that ball from long is just hit straight out. And you wonder just how important James Meyer's experience was going to be in this second half. And they can't call upon it now. Hyunjun, Hugo. 11 shots off target now for Peninsula Power, only 2 on. They have had 57% of possession, so that's creeping up as well. And there is some lightning going on to our left, just keeping you informed. It looks like it's getting closer, and may well affect the quality of our stream, let's put it that way. Here's Janchevsky. What quality can he produce from this left-hand side? It's interrupted by Tristan Hugo. He's been good today, Tristan Hugo. Managing to get himself in the way of those players. The ball was out, was it? It's a free kick against Sekou Jamandi. It looked like it was shoulder to shoulder on Matthew Saw. Sure about that. Scott Fulton is the man who's come on. He's a veteran of the grand final defeat to Peninsula Power. 2-0 the score was there up at AJ Kelly. It's 2-0 in favour of Eastern Suburbs on this occasion. It was Jordan Farina who got them both and then promptly got sent off after a shocking tackle, really, and then a bit of a battle between the two sides. There was a coming together. It was Jaden Ballarizo who stuck 2 hands up. Those of you who see my notes now have all my secrets. Apologies for that. Just a nice resting point here on the scaffold at Heath Park. Janchevsky. Plummer. Space opening up. Here's Ramon Close. It just gets away from him. The ball there. Woolley plays the ball out wide, asking a little bit too much of Tom Strickland, and a couple of discussions going on between the Peninsula Power players. Trent McAvoy doing his best to try and rally his troops. They trail by 2-0. Janchevsky back inside to Jamanda. Jamandi with the snapshot! Oh, it's off the coast! Oh, what an effort from Jamande! Sekou Jamande absolutely leathered that one. Turned on a dime and just thrashed it towards goal, and Sam Long was well beaten. That's a magnificent shot. But the end result is still that Peninsula Power have not scored a goal here. Corner is played short. Shot from the edge of the area this time. It's on the head of Jamande, and that nearly beats the netting on the area behind the goal, protecting those cars. Tell you what, that shot gets better every time you see it. He absolutely leathered it. Got everything behind it off a pretty short run-up. and smashed it towards goal. Janchevsky is going to make way. That's the third substitute of the night for Peninsula Power. The former Noosa Lion has been quiet. He was impressive last week, the 22-year-old, but he has been withdrawn on this occasion. He gets a pat on the back from Aaron Phillip. And it's Alex Warrilow, the former Redlands United man. "30 minutes remaining in this one. Just under. Yango is eventually dispossessed. What can Peninsula Power do here? Get the ball dispossessed. That's what they do here. Saw. What's he going to be able to do? He gets dispossessed. Then he's a little bit late on Jamande. That was a little bit naughty. Advantage is being played, and how will Peninsula Power use it? Ramon Close is in the middle. Cronin is busting a gut to get there as well. Cronin with the little run. It might slip through to Cronin. I think it was intended for Close. Doesn't quite get there though. Woolley plays it wide. Close is in the middle. Cronin. Back to Woolley. Ramon Close still battling. Ramon Close battling very well. There's a free kick. Didn't see much in that. Be interesting to see what happens from here. That lightning is getting quite close. Beautiful city views in the background here at Heath Park. Has to be one of the best locations for a football ground in the National Premier League's Queensland. See the Brisbane CBD lit up just over 3 kilometres away. You even see the Story Bridge lit up blue on this occasion. That is a free kick on the edge of the area, won by the impressive Abraham Yango. It's not met with universal approval in the grandstands. Plenty of Peninsula Power supporters making the trip down from the peninsula. Yango's going to take this. He's going to whip it towards goal, you'd think. To back post, it was a leaping Matthew Byrne who managed to get his head to it. He scored with his only shot on goal last week off the rebound up in the Sunshine Coast. 3-1 victory in Kawana. Yango slid in there, and it was Woolley who just sort of danced away from it on one foot. Service resumed again. Here's the substitute, Warrilow. Plummer doesn't quite squeeze it through to Close. Yango's down. They're not going to stop play, Peninsula Power, and that is their prerogative. It's a poorly aimed cross by Strickland. He's going to get it back though. Perhaps he'll do better second chance. He slides it into Woolley. Good run from Woolley, and it's in. It's Ramon Close. 2-1. Lovely football, Peninsula Power. Ramon Close ghosting in at that near post and just side-footing it in past the goalkeeper. Excellent finish from Peninsula Power. Game on here at Heath Park. Lovely football from the reigning Football Queensland Premier League champions. Do not go anywhere. There's plenty of action still left in this one. 25 minutes to go. And as you can see, the lightning flicker in the background, I think. Lovely football. It was a great pass by Strickland inside to Woolley, and then Ramon Close has shown how good he is at scoring those goals. He had 11 goals last season. He's off the mark in this season as well. Eastern Suburbs are dropping like flies, and it's another impressive player. You'd have to say the two most impressive players for Eastern Suburbs, James Meyer and Abraham Yango, have now both left the field. Takwul Sun will come on. He was a substitute last week, managed 30 minutes. 2 shots on target, 1 off. It'll be he who restarts things. Just a note, I've mentioned the lightning a couple of times. Just alerting you that the live stream may be affected if this inclement weather does get too close and cause a threat to both our staff up here on the gantry and the players on the field. So we'll keep you up to date with all that we know. Oh, it's a lovely turn back inside that from Saw. He finds Fulton on the edge of the area, and then Fulton tried to find somebody in the grandstand behind the goal. Update out west, and there has been a goal. The deadlock has been broken, and it is the Gold Coast Knights who've got it. So Western Pride, having led by 1-0, have now been put on the back foot significantly. It's 2-1 in favour of Gold Coast Knights as Sam Long bundles into substitute Ramon Close, and I'd have to say the substitutes have worked for Peninsula Power. Not quite worked thus far for Eastern Suburbs. Here is one of them, Takwul Sun. Unable to keep possession. He's a giant man, Takwul Sun, in the number 9 shirt. Absolutely enormous. That ball's played a little bit too far in advance of Tom Strickland. Look at him walking up next to Sam Cronin now, and Sam Cronin's not a small man. He's absolutely dwarfing him. In deep conversation with Son Hwan-jun. Some threat for Eastern Suburbs up top, if they can get to him. Eastern Suburbs are playing with 9 men, it should be remembered, after Jaden Valorizo and Jordan Farina were both sent off after an incident towards the end of that first half. It's a lovely looking ball towards Jamande. It had to be gathered by Long, and Long did really, really well to get that. Plays the ball out quickly to Tristan Hugo. Hugo cuts inside. That was an ugly looking one, and that could have been really nasty. We've seen some tackles go punished earlier on in this game. You'd have to say that wasn't a particularly tidy one. Woolley went over the top of the ankle on Tristan Hugo, and this could be quite nasty for the youngster. Seems an opportune moment while Tristan Hugo gets treatment to mention that you can play football with Football Queensland, whether you're just starting out or have been doing it for years. There is a club for you to play football in 2019. 2,200 clubs across the country, so there's bound to be one near you. Boys and girls start playing for a club from 6 years of age, and plenty of clubs have options for ages before that as well. So make sure you visit playfootball.com.au to find your nearest club and get into the game, and make sure that you can start playing football just like the guys we're seeing out here in the National Premier League Queensland in this match between Eastern Suburbs and Peninsula Power. Eastern Suburbs leading by 2-1. It was 2-0 at the break thanks to 2 goals from Jordan Farina in the 32nd and 34th minutes. Both gifts, really. Peninsula Power had been dominating proceedings and increasingly dominating proceedings as the half went on, and then all hell broke loose really in the second, towards the end of that first half. Poor tackle from Farina caused a bit of a melee that led to both he and Jaden Valorizo being sent off, along with their counterpart Dan Cooner from Peninsula Power. So it's 10 against 9 at the moment, and the 10 men of Peninsula Power have pegged a goal back in the second half. Ramon Close scoring it in the 65th minute. A lot of time still to be played as Takwul Sun looked towards the referee, but it did look like that he actually kicked his opponent rather than the other way round. Peninsula Power are breaking quickly though. It's played in towards Sekou Jamande, or at least it was attempted to be played in towards Sekou Jamande. Instead it was too close to Sam Long, and Long plays that ball long, and Tristan Hugo is back on the field and looks like he's moving pretty freely. Keeping an eye on the weather around us as well. There is storm activity about us. The ball just goes ahead of Alex Warrilow and out. 57% possession so far for Peninsula Power. I'm surprised about that. I thought it would be more than that. They've had 12 shots off target, 5 on. Oh, we think we were going to add 1 to that because of a fantastic save from Sam Long, but didn't appear to be credited by our friends taking the statistics. Perhaps it was going off target. It certainly looked like it was on target from our angle, and a fine save, but that does show the dominance that Peninsula Power have had, and it's not just because they're a man up. This lovely work from Ramon Close, gets the ball back to Strickland, and Strickland earns a corner for his side. They've been threatening from corners, have Peninsula Power, and the threats will continue. Join in the conversation on Facebook. Let us know where you're watching from. Ball is played into a dangerous area. It's come in off Luke Plummer. Was there an arm involved? I don't think there was. Certainly no complaints. And it is 2-2 Peninsula Power back on level terms. And eventually, Sekou Jamande does get the ball back off Sam Long. We'll see a replay very, very shortly of that goal. Must have been chest, I think, from Luke Plummer. He only scored 1 goal last season, against Ipswich Knights, that one came. And they've been threatening from corners all the while. Ah, it's nicely finished in the penalty area. He had a free man. We didn't need another flashpoint, but Sekou Jamande and Sam Long nearly provided us one. Luke Plummer getting the equalising goal, and it is very much all to play for here, but Eastern Suburbs are wilting under the pressure that they're being put under as the sky lights up once more with a bolt of lightning. That's all we need. Some inclement weather to add more chaos to proceedings. Here's Jamande. Plays the ball out wide to Strickland. Strickland fires the ball towards goal, and it took a deflection on its way through. Almost fell favourably for Ramon Close. It's all action around the grounds. Out at Briggs Road, it's also 2-2. Western Pride getting back on level terms, having led early in that one and being pegged back to 2-1 behind. You don't want to take your eyes off this for a second in the National Premier League Queensland. It's just another heavy tackle goes in over on that far side. Oh, all action in the National Premier League Queensland. What a way to get things back underway. And a fantastic surprise result last weekend. Rafe Griffin calling the inaugural Football Queensland Foundation Cup, which went the way of Peninsula Power. And he'll be back in action next week, taking you through Lions against Moreton Bay United in the National Premier League's women's competition. That gets underway next week. And then the live stream game for the National Premier League's Queensland men's competition is those Gold Coast Knights, who are drawing 2-2 out in Ipswich at the moment. We'll be at the Croatian Sports Centre on the Gold Coast as they take on South West Queensland Thunder. Jamande raced into the penalty area. It's fallen kindly for Woolley though, but now it's fallen kindly the other way for Tak Woo Sun. Woo Sun goes wide to Byrne. Byrne playing in an advanced position all of a sudden. Gets the ball back towards Woo Sun, but it's cut out on the way, and then acrobatic from Jamande. You get it clear in whichever way you can in these situations, I think. And now Peninsula Power will look to peg the 9 men of Eastern Suburbs in over on that far side. If you saw with the throw, that's sloppy from Long, but it was just as sloppy really from Jamande. It could have been a really threatening position had he managed to show a little bit more composure and played in one of Sam Cronin or Ramon Close, but as it was, the chance goes begging. Another chance goes begging really for Peninsula Power. Here's Close. Close tried to squeeze the ball through towards Cronin, can't get there. And then I'm not sure about that. Free kick goes against Son Hyun-jun. Oh no, it goes in favour of Son Hyun-jun. Looked like it was a free kick in either direction, to be honest. Two players just coming together, but perhaps there was a wayward boot. Just as goalkeeper Jake Reesby says it'll hold up in the wind dies down. Oh, he's done well there as Woo Sun, and Woo Sun shoots on sight, and I think if he had his time again he'd choose a different option. Ball just sailed very unthreateningly over the bar and just gives Peninsula Power another platform to attack from. Can they extend their sensational record here at Heath Park? Ball's aimed towards Jamande, it's too deep. Might be a play on for Strickland, but instead it's played out to Tristan Hugo. Hugo's going to be challenged by his opposite number, Cronin. Hugo's going to be challenged this time by Woolley. They're everywhere, the Peninsula Power boys. He gets help from his older brother Tristan, who launches that ball forward towards Tak Woo Sun, who had no idea where that ball was. It's comfortably dealt with by the Peninsula Power defence. Plummer. Warrilow wide to Fox. Fox has been less effective since he's moved out wide. Or wider of where he was playing before, but he had a fantastic game so far. Power pegging Eastern Suburbs in. Intelligent flick there from close to Cronin. Jamande hooks it onto Strickland. Strickland back inside to Jamande. Close is there. Still there for Jamande. He gets a shot, but it hammers back off Tristan Hugo. Still there though for Woolley. Woolley up against... He was up against Saw, and a bit going on afterwards there as well. Niggle being the operative word for the day. Every corner flag takes a cops a beating in these matches, you have to say. I think they thought they'd have a rest after Tim Cahill retired, but no, it's always the inadvertent and the frustrated slaps rather than the triumphant punches now. Oh, that one's fallen quite favourably for Eastern Suburbs. Oh, it's a lovely ball inside. Flag is up. Scott Fulton, the offending party. Tak Woo Sun just delaying his pass too much. It's been a sensational game of football, we have to say. Oh, late goal, late action out in Ipswich. It's 3-2, and it's Gold Coast Knights who've scored it. There's not that much time for the hosts to get a goal back, so Western Pride staring down the barrel of 2 straight defeats to open the National Premier League Queensland season. It's been a season of much change out west. Lots of players moving on. Oh, Son Hyun-jun might feel slightly aggrieved there. Looked like he won the ball off Ramon Close, but he was adjudged to have done so unfairly by the referee, who was in an ideal position. It's Cronin. Cronin to Close, but ball never got to Close, and here's a captain's run from Matthew Byrne. Oh, it's a really good captain's run from Matthew Byrne. Rarely does he reach the rarefied air of his opponent's final third, and in fact he runs the ball out just before it gets there. Oh, that's a sloppy effort. Tak Woo Sun benefiting from that. A little bit of sloppy play from Josh Woolley. Tell you what, for Peninsula Power, they have been everywhere, their players. Woo Sun, lots of space on this near side for Saw. It's a poor cross in the end, and it's picked up by Cronin. Cronin was about to be crowded out by Fulton and Hyun-jun. Here's Fox. Fox going up against Barnett. Fox twisting and turning, and still Fox is looking for an option. Finds it in Close. Back to Cronin. Cronin with the shot! Cronin with the goal! Peninsula Power were dead and buried at 2-0 down. They have taken the lead here in the 82nd minute. And it's a wonderful finish. More brilliant work from Brenton Fox. but a fine, fine goal. In the end, I'm just having a look at it again now. Sam Cronin, it's his third of the season already. And Eastern Suburbs, it's all fallen apart. It was looking so promising for the hosts. They were going to end their hoodoo here at Heath Park against Peninsula Power. They've not won here against the Power since 2015. That run looks like it's going to be extended for a fourth year. It has finished out in the West. Gold Coast Knights running out 3-2 winners. 3-2 to the away side there. Will it be 3-2 to the away side here? Or just like Cameron Lloyd wants, will there be more goals? As Jamande just cops a stray arm, I think. He goes to deck just after playing the ball out. Can be awkward if you get one in the eye. There was a substitution as well for Eastern Suburbs while I was losing my mind over that goal. Tristan Hugo it was who was withdrawn. He did take that ankle knock for 19-year-old. Jamande's still on the ground, but he is working his way back up onto the field. Just having a look now. Oh yeah, just a trailing arm there. I'm sure he'll be okay. He's still feeling it though. Paniato Bellas, the former Olympic player, is the man who comes on. So only played one game for Olympic and actually scored, and then was dropped the week after. Played most of his games for the red and white in the under-20s and the under-18s, and he was brought in just to deal with a away trip to Townsville, I believe. While we're mentioning Townsville, our thoughts are with everybody who's suffered in the floods up there at the moment in North Queensland. Everyone from Football Queensland sends its support to those affected by the inclement weather and that flooding emergency up in the state's north. So best of wishes, and if you are watching, do have power. We hope you're enjoying this game. Fulton. Ball to Bellas, and then it was Hunjun who played the ball up to Fulton again. It was launched forward to the giant Tak Woo Sun. Sun uses the hip and shoulder to keep possession over on that far side. Took a throw in quickly, and can Eastern Suburbs in fact get something out of this game? They've shown nothing really, the 9 men in this second half, other than to defend. But now that Peninsula Power have really busted a gut to get into a strong position, they slightly lose focus. You'd expect not. Any of Aaron Phillips' sides rarely do lose focus, and they just have that ability to win no matter what the circumstances. Lovely ball from Strickland to Jamande. Jamande can't wrap his foot around it though. It was good defence from Matthew Byrne. Latterly of Moreton Bay United, who made 71 appearances in the National Premier Leagues for the Jets. Made another 58 for Olympic earlier on in the National Premier League's era. It's a chipped ball by Huen Jun towards Woo Sun, and then Woo Sun tried for a return pass and it was comfortably cut out. Here's Ramon Close. Ramon Close is going to ask a lot of Fox, but Fox has plenty of answers. Not quite enough to get the patter of the pace of Alex Barnett though. Did well the defender, because when Fox gets on a run, very difficult to deal with. Peninsula Power will be quite content in passing the ball between themselves in the centre circle, you would have thought. Luke Plummer and Josh Woolley, the two men there. The tackles stop flying in from those in orange. McAvoy was chipped forward, and we're going to see a foul. Another set piece for Eastern Suburbs to defend. They will need to keep this one out if they can have any hope of salvaging something from this game, a game that started so promisingly. 14 shots off target, 8, maybe 9 on for Peninsula Power. You'd have to say they've deserved their victory, but at 2-0 down, certainly didn't look like that would be the case. But that moment of madness from both sets of players, to be honest, but particularly Jordan Farina, Jaden Valorizo and Dan Kuna of Peninsula Power, the 2 former players mentioned of Eastern Suburbs. Moment of madness from those players, really threw a spanner into the works. Jamande looked like he was shaping to shoot, but it's gone all the way wide. Fox wants it, he's not going to get it. Instead it's to Close. Close has space to turn. Ramon Close didn't get all of it. In fact, managed to squirm it across the face of goal and out for a goal kick. Just 2 minutes remaining for Eastern Suburbs to get something in. Cameron Lloyd says, never give up Power. They certainly didn't today. Oh, we've got a cramp. There's a sniper in the stands. Matthew Sawyer's gone down, the 29-year-old from Rockhampton. Went up for that header with Tom Strickland. And he's struggling a little bit there. Good opportunity perhaps to mention the IFCCA. It's Australia's only national football specific coaching conference, and it's taking place on the Gold Coast on the 25th and 26th of May. Make sure you get your delegate pass today at ifcaa.com.au. Another reminder that all National Premier League's Queensland games are being live streamed, live and free, on the Football Queensland website, across YouTube and Facebook as well. Football Queensland will continue to showcase a match of the round for the National Premier League's Queensland, the National Premier League's women's competition, and the Football Queensland Premier League as well. So you will be able to listen to the dulcet tones of Rafe Griffin, myself, and a few other special guests as well throughout the season, who you'll be updated upon. And this has been some cramp from Matthew Sawyer, it has to be said. The whole team out there, while he deals with this one, that can be particularly nasty. Another opportunity perhaps to mention but it's time to join the team. Whether you're just starting out or have been doing so for years, there will be a club for you to play football in 2019 at whatever level. There's 2,200 clubs around the country. There'll have to be one near you, and that's right for you. Boys, girls, anyone can play from the age of 6, and then there's plenty of programs available from even before that with the kindy kickers as well. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Get to playfootball.com.au and check out where your nearest club is. Ball's lumped forward. Ramon Close is giving chase, and he's well worthy of it as well. Still an opportunity here for Eastern Suburbs. Oh, it's fallen very kindly on the edge of the penalty area here. What can Hyun-jun make of it? Oh, it's still there for Jong-hyun. Peninsula Power belatedly clear, and now it's launched towards Sekou Jamande. What can Jamande do? He's got Tristan Hugo up against him. Tristan Hugo can be a bulldozer at times, and he does just enough there. But the ball's played back inside to Cronin. Cronin did have Close in support. Cronin goes down, but it was shoulder to shoulder, surely. The protestations were fairly vocal. They fell on deaf ears. in terms of our Total Tools referee. Thanks for all the kind messages, guys, particularly Nathan Draper. Angus Green enjoying the football as well, as Cronin has another look towards goal. He uses Ramon Close. Close turns on a sixpence. Cronin, is Cronin going to have a shot? No, he's going to go to Jamanda. Jamanda will have a shot. It's a good save from Long. No, I really do enjoy reading these comments. Cameron Lloyd, loving that. Brian Atlas didn't enjoy the decision or the description of that shoulder-to-shoulder penalty shout on Sam Cronin. I have to say, David Dunn is crediting Jordan Farina for this one. He did play a vital role in this game for Eastern Suburbs, scored 2 goals. Offside flag is up against Brenton Fox, can't have been much in it. Lindsay Jones enjoying the commentary as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a real pleasure to bring you this game. It has been some game to get back into action with here in the National Premier League Queensland 2019. And there's still a fair bit to go, you'd think. Eastern Suburbs do have the throw-in. Time will have to be running out now. We're in the hands of the referee. Peninsula Power were 2 goals down. If you've just joined us, if you have just joined us, you've missed all the excitement as Jamande is offside, and he shouldn't be offside there. And you can see the disappointment in Trent McAvoy, and you imagine that conversation might continue in the dressing room. But Eastern Suburbs were 2-0 up. It was 2 goals to Jordan Farina against the run of play in the first half, 32 minutes and 34 minutes. And then madness descended upon Heath Park. It was a bad tackle from Farina. It earned him first a yellow card, and then the melee saw him receive a second yellow card. Sorry, a red card, a straight red card. There was no second yellow card in that one. I'll make sure I get that right. Thanks, Phil Davis. Enjoy having you with us as always, watching these National Premier League streams. Great supporter of football in the area is Phil Davis. Jamande plays that ball inside to Warrilow. What will the substitute do? He is hacked down, and we're going to see a yellow card. The acknowledgement was clear, and heads are down for those in orange shirts. We're still in the hands of the referee. There's some discussion. Might finish with a flourish from Peninsula Power, but I'll continue wrapping up what happened. Jordan Farina with a very poor tackle. He was shown a red card. Initially it was a yellow. That was shown a red card after the quite violent altercation involving Jaden Ballarizo, who put 2 hands into the face of Sam Roper. He was shown a straight red card as well, and you have to say rightly so. Dan Cooner was first in to remonstrate with Farina. He was also shown a red card. Might have been some afters within the melee from him to warrant that red card rather than instigating it perhaps. Didn't have any real necessity to. Ramon Close is in a very unthreatening position, it has to be said, on this near side. The free kick is taken though, and it's deflected behind for a corner. But that's all she wrote here at Heath Park. I'll continue my summary, but I'll start from the beginning. Eastern Suburbs led by 2-0. Jordan Farina with 2 goals around the half-hour mark, 32 minutes and 34 minutes. 2 goals against the run of play. First was after some fantastic work from James Meyer and Abraham Yango, who were 2 both very impressive players for Eastern Suburbs. The second was just a gift. It was played right at the feet of Yango, who played in Farina, who just lifted the ball over Reesby, and that was that, a 2-goal lead. But then, absolute madness. Jordan Farina went in with a very, very bad tackle, and I think it might have even been on Roper. That sparked a little bit of a melee. A yellow card initially was shown to Farina. Ballarizo came in, put 2 hands in the face of Roper, who went down. Dan Cooner came in to remonstrate with Farina. There was a melee. Farina, Ballarizo and Cooner all shown red cards, straight red cards at that as well. So Eastern Suburbs down to 9. Peninsula Power satisfied with 10 men, 3 men off the field. Space opened up. Made a couple of substitutions, did Aaron Phillip in that second half. Principally Ramon Close, who came on and got the opening goal for Peninsula Power. He scored a hat-trick against East in round 15 last year, and he continued his fine goal-scoring form against the Tigers here. That was then equalised with a goal from Luke Plummer. It looked like he just bundled it in from a corner. And then Sam Cronin with a fine finish, a really fine finish, his third of the season. And what had looked quite unlikely at half-time, despite Peninsula Power's dominance, turned into a famous victory. That's now 34 regular season games in a row without defeat for Peninsula Power. An astonishing record, and that's a very, very important win for the Power, particularly in the manner that it came. Plenty more action to come in the coming weeks. We have every single National Premier League Queensland game streamed live for you on the Football Queensland Facebook page and website. The live focused game of the week will be Gold Coast Knights against South West Queensland Thunder next Sunday at 4 o'clock. But we also have one game of the week from the Football Queensland Premier League when that starts, and the National Premier League Women's, and that will be starting next Saturday. Lions against Moreton Bay United on Saturday, so you've got football on Saturday and football on Sunday from Football Queensland competitions. Best of luck before I go to the Raw W League team. They kick off at 6:15 at Dolphin Stadium against Sydney in their W League semi-final. But other than that, what a fantastic night's football. Simon Smale bringing you all the action. This has been a Football Queensland production, thanks to Double Take, so thank you to our team up here at Heath Park. A brilliant, brilliant game of football. It had absolutely everything. We can't wait to bring you the next instalment from the National Premier League Queensland. But all from us here at Heath Park. Simon Smale, good night.